Ministry of ICT and National Guidance. And it's a ministry which gives information to the public on how government has performed in different sectors. Before we divert into the discussion, allow me invite Samuel to greet our viewer, and then we shall start from there. You are welcome, my brother.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
First of all, privileged
Yes, please.
To be here in the studios of Record TV.
Yeah.
And I appreciate actually the management for having created this slot where we can be invited and then have a discussion on what's going on in the country. I really feel privileged. Good morning, our viewers. And like he said, my name is Bishop Samuel. I'm from the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, and I do communications on behalf of government. So we're here to give you communications and to actually dilute lies that our people tell you. So I'd like to begin this way.
Yes.
You know, if you look at during colonialism, from colonialism to 1986, those about like 92 years, okay? Uganda only achieved 1,200 kilometers, okay? In a space of 92 years, 1,200 kilometers. And today, in just a space of 34 years, we have achieved 5,000 kilometers of tarmac roads. What am I trying to say? That the real issue here is the traffic jam. The real struggle is the traffic jam.
Yes.
Because getting here alone has been a very big problem. I'm just wondering where all those cars are coming from. Abantu webagambira nti obavu njobe mutukizuzivawa. I really don't. I sit together, but the real struggle now we have today.
Yes, Samuel Kakati, that has just been like a teaser okulaba gye tugenda and what we are going to discuss. We are made aware that NRM yali had its 10-point program, and one of the 10 programs baali boogerako mwalimu social transformation, mwalimu democracy. There were levels of things that it really NRM promised Ugandans before we bagira munanka into power. We are now saying we want to digest NRM from 1986 webagide mu bufuzi until today. Just gwe mukulaba owonga ali mu national government, you speak on behalf of government, and these programs have been, we cannot separate NRM from the government, because what it comes up as a party is what is implemented. Like now tulinayo already manifesto President Museveni gyagenda okwogererako ngamu abali mu national guidance. I want us otule mu camera, you tell our people from 1986 until today, what are these salient features that you can tell Ugandans that NRM has been in position to put in place, and all people must be proud of NRM?
Okay. What people must be proud of NRM, first of all, one of the contributions, okay, of NRM government to Ugandans, it is, first of all, it is peace. Okay? And which peace gave birth to two things. Good politics, okay? And the NRM government, under the leadership of President Museveni Kaguta, built an army which is governed by laws.
Yes.
What do I mean by that? At Kansoke Nkunyonyo, Olwaleero, this is the only regime where I know nti omusirikale asobola okutwalibwa mu kooti n'abonana omusango. In the 70s, in the 80s, tell me which government had that. We have a professional army today. Today we have an army that is governed by laws. Today you can move with a soldier. Okay? You can move with the soldier, which never used to be that time. Because just even meeting with the soldier was, should they just tell you that one of our main soldiers just passing there? It would be a very big problem.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? It will be a very big problem. So, honestly speaking, I want you to know that at least that this government has done its best, okay, He has done its best to ensure that
Samuel, if we are talking in terms of peace, and the peace jemba nenda that people can sleep, people can travel, people can do everything. You know, the army does not interfere with Nichigena Manso. There is total stability in the country. Now, of late, we have seen that the peace we are talking about, we had numerous murders in the country, not only in Kampala, but even up country. People were killed, people were there. Is this the peace you are referring to?
You see, let me tell you one thing. We are here talking today. How many media houses do we have today?
In terms,
there are over 200.
Yes.
Okay. That's alone TV and radio. There are over 200.
Yes.
Now, how many print media do we have today? Okay.
Many we have.
There are quite many.
Yes.
So if it wasn't for peace, okay, in the 70s, 80s, how many media houses do we have? We only had UTV and Radio Uganda, and you could not speak the way you want. You don't just wake up in the morning and then you come and you criticize the government and you think you are going to go to your home. You do that, as you speak it, you don't sleep in the country. We have even human rights. Human rights. Okay,
but Samuel,
no, hold on, let me tell you this. Twaina amurefu munsanvu, twaina nekitongo kya human rights era munsanvu. Ne byalinga bimonitoringa Uganda mu Kenya nga gye bisinziira. Byo byalinga bisinziira wano nga tebasobola. Kumulimu gwa mini nga tosobola, otekatokenda kwogera ki? Omukulu byatayagala. You cannot survive. You can't. That's so when we talk about peace, okay, the only way why we are having and from peace, you know, this government has made sure it has attracted investors. It has attracted the private sector into Uganda. Most especially that one which is coming from out.
Now that you are referring to investment, there was Baden Chabula Yakabuzo Kamuke Baden Kuboza Kuchigambe Chikwatagana with the army. Of late we have seen that the army, which is profession, it has done a lot. If you are going to look at it in terms of they have the mechanized brigade which is constructing, which is coming up, they are building new whatevers. In terms of professionalism, yes, we can allude to it that there has been something which has happened. But in terms of the public domain, it has been discovered that the big generals and the whatevers, they're the ones again who are, you know, grabbing people's land. They are the ones doing what, you know, it is the army where there is freedom of expression, association. It is the army which comes in and whatever. The army has become everywhere. The army is the one which is in most of the public offices. You go to Minister of Migration, to Migration, whatever department. Almost all of them are it's the army, which is contrary to what is enshrined in our constitution, that a practicing army officer does not become a civil servant. But this is now not professionalism. You as people who are in the Ministry of ICT and guiding people in the areas of the army, you have said professionalism. What do you have to say about this?
But you see, this is how the whole story goes. First of all, I've talked about army grabbing land and so on and so forth.
Yeah, they're the ones guiding evictions. They're the ones doing.
You're about to tell me. That also army is involved in corruption. That's what you're about to tell me. I think you have just forgotten it. But
maybe you could be alluding to it.
I could be looking at you and I can see that's what you're about to say. If I said this is the only regime whereby we have a professional army governed by laws, there is Article 17 of the Constitution. Okay? Your role as a citizen. You get what I'm saying? If you know that an army officer is not above the law, why don't you report that army officer actually who is really trying to even into your land, always trying to forcibly take your land outside the law? Give me that one army officer who has ever been processed and has never been charged. You tell me that one army officer. We cannot compare the army we have today and the army we had in the 70s or 1986. We can't. You people, let me tell you, Uganda was not Uganda at all. It wasn't. Uganda was never there. In fact, we're talking about Uganda right from
1986
to today. I think that's the Uganda weyatandikira ze wekyinyiza okugamba. Uganda yatandika mu 86 paka kati kwa Uganda gituwogerako. This Uganda we're talking about. Whatever we're talking about, it is because we're talking about things which are here now. We are not talking about things which are not there. What is there now to talk about in 1986? What is there to talk about?
Prior to 1990.
Yes. I mean, sorry, in the 70s. What is there to talk about? We had the colonialists here.
There was a government. There was a government. The economy was there. There were leadership, like presidents and whatever. All people were there.
Why does government say the past? This is the honorary regime.
The time we had independence, you know.
Yes, but we are really independent. Like today, we are really
one would
independent.
still ask.
No, we are not independent. Independence, yes, we had independence, but it was in the world. But it is not until today.
We just want to move away from the professional anime and whatever, but yes. I just have two things, whatever. Of late, we have seen, like you have said, we are into an election time where campaigns are up and whatever. Sincerely speaking, we have seen the security operatives climbing on poles and pulling down posters of whatever. We have seen security operatives, the army, raiding people, political parties, whatever, and grabbing whatever. So I just want you to explain that area, and then from there, we shall move to the areas of investment and how NRM, we can allude to it in the areas of investment. Maybe you conclude that part. Okay.
First of all, you have seen maybe police officers pull down
posters of candidates who are in opposition mostly.
Yeah, but from what I understand, those police officers, they are working, they're operating their duties within the law, and they work with KCCA. Okay. Initially, what was happening that some of the aspiring candidates by then, because it's today not until the official days of nomination. Now they are fully duly nominated. That but still they had to first check with KCCA. Where should we put our posters? Where should we put our placards? Where should we put this? Not everywhere to litter posters. That's the problem where it was. But they did not put the posters down because now the police has a side.
A side, like partisan.
No. That was not it.
That is the mind of the people. They feel the police and the security operatives
those law enforcement officers, the police officers, they were acting within the law and they work with KCCA. We all know that those police officers help KCCA to make sure that the law is followed. So until then, these candidates had to go to KCCA. So now, which are the gazetted areas? Where shouldn't I put my posters? One on Tekeo or Stekao? That was it. So, but it should not be painted like as if now our the police officers or the armed officers now have a side. No.
Away from security operatives and peace and whatever we are enjoying this time, and indeed there is relative peace, everybody would understand that and appreciate it. We want to go to the areas where you are talking about investments, but I want to give you some few highlights on what I understand what was there before, and then we had Jinja, which was an industrial hub, and everybody, we had Dandelope, we had almost all the factories were in Jinja. We have in Mbale, it was also another industrial hub where I had Naitil and so many other factories that were thriving at that time. And in Kampala, there is one investor whom I've always had during my childhood, and people have alluded to him, which is Sembole. He was making, TVs, radios, and whatever, and so on and so forth. The investment hub in Uganda mostly was by Ugandans. We tuwa tutunuda kumbera ya investment onako olwalero. Samuel, mwabali mu Minister of ICT, can you give us, or to highlight it, just try to tell us the investment immediate as we talk mu kiseera kino in Uganda. We tuwa tuviira ddala okuva mu 1986 okutuuka olwaleero, the investment trend etambudde etya, and why would Ugandans be proud that as now we can, celebrate?
You see, it is very easier for somebody to say that now you have talked about Jinja, was an industrial, really very active.
Yes.
But the time came when it was no more.
No more.
Okay. And now, to some people, they want to fault that on the NRM government.
Put it clear now,
You get
because
what-
when we started the show, you said
Yeah.
there are a lot of lies,
Yes,
and you are
yes,
here now to
yes,
preempt
yes,
those lies.
yes.
Now, that is one of the lies that is training in the
the-
people's
you-
mind.
Some people, most especially the others on the other side, they think that by painting NRM with lies, it is going to help them actually achieve their political goals. But I can assure you one thing. Like I was telling you, you see, I don't want to even talk about colonialism. I said about Isa Winyo. Okay, to me. Okay, we had Oli agenda kugamba twaine gali yomuka agenda Kirembe sima twaite sima kopa and so on and so on. Gwejajawo yafuna mochi mukoko ego bali basima. Yafuna mochi. Tewaliwo kintu muzungu kye yakola nga tekigenda kugasa ye. Tekiriwo. Pamba yes yali alimibwa. Naye pamba twamufuna mochi. Kiki nnyo ekinene nnyo kitwafuna mu pamba oyo. Pamba yalimibwa neera still pamba oyo kugamba anyway bali bajja kutunyunyunda banyunyusirwe olulimi olutuufu. Pamba yes yalimibwa and at a large scale. Naye toyinza kugamba nti mu kinana mu mukaaga total revenue y'eggwanga lyonna bwali butaano 5 billion a whole country, that's total revenue collection. And you think actually, okay, total revenue collection 5 billion, but then we had coffee, we had cotton, we had copper. All that was active. Where was the revenue
But
of all that going?
you can also look at the population that we had. That we had active population, you know, and the levels,
Yes.
because revenue is collected from abantu abali kolomuli. If you are going to look at now the numbers of people in terms, let us say direct tax, let us say indirect tax. In terms of direct tax, tunine misolonga pay as you earn. That the numbers of people who are receiving salaries from government and whatever, they have gone high compared to the other numbers. The people who are consuming products now today, who are taking sodas and whatever and so on, the numbers have also gone. It's just a replica that if the population and the people who are consuming products have increased, then the revenue also has to go high. The other time people were getting these products from Kenya and were smuggled in and these others, because you get soap, everything was coming from Kenya.
No, I think you're coming on my side now. Because yes.
You don't have to say, yeah. I'm just speaking my mind that will be coming from.
You're trying to understand, but
Yes.
you're forcing yourself not to understand. But this is the thing. Yes. What was the total population by that time? What hindered those people to multiply the population by that time? What hindered them? There was no peace. Okay? There was no peace. Today we are how many million? Is it 44 million Ugandans?
Yes.
Yes. There was no peace. Where were the hospitals? I've told you we had only one referral hospital. Today we have 17.
Before we get to hospitals in
Yes.
social
Okay.
sector, let's first
So
handle
now,
this
when-
area of
yes,
investment,
yes.
then we shall
Now,
move
when
to
we
the
come here,
health sector.
You have talked about ginger. Yes, ginger was there, but everything was tailored around a white man's benefit. You get? It was tailored around the white man's benefit. This white man did not actually ever think of one single moment to invest in human capital. Such that if I go, Uganda can still go. For them, they were like, if I go, Uganda has to stop. And that's what happened, not until 1986. This government, President Museveni, never found anything in the coffers of this country. We literally had no roads, I've told you. From colonialism to 1986, we only achieved 1,200 kilometers. Those are 92 years. In 34 years, we have achieved 5,000 kilometers of tarmac roads. Today, Uganda was a landlocked country. Do you know why? We had no roads connecting to the border. Today, Uganda is open to the borders. We have roads connecting to the borders. And that's why you see investment actually is in every district. There is investment, there are factories there. Let's talk about Namav. In 1970, do you know what Namav used to be?
No.
That was a killing hub for Idi Amin. Today, it's an industrial park.
But in the environment would float you for that, because the Namvambe Park is a catchment area for waters which were moving within Kampala and whatever, for it to be filtered before it would go to Lake Victoria. Now, they are turned into an investment. Those are now for the angles of the environment.
Yes. Oh, those are angles of the environments. Are we trying to say that these environments have no any other option all has water. Okay, since Namamve turned into an industrial park, so water purification stopped. Everyone is suffering from typhoid today. Can you give me the numbers of typhoid patients today in Uganda?
No.
So has it stopped? So that means they had an option. We are not going to stop. Where there is an option, we can't stop like development to happen in some places because people are just around one thing. There are always options. Water purification is going on today. It's going on today. Water access today, 72% of Ugandans can access water. Namave did not stop accessibility of water to Ugandans. You get what I'm saying? So I don't see any fault in that because when we have these factories set up, they are built, investment is in the country, we get more jobs, okay? We get more revenue, all right? And we consume products at least on a lower rate.
Yes, stay tuned to Record TV. We are having an exclusive interview with Bishop Samuel from the Minister of ICT and National Guidance. We are trying to digest on how NRM has performed from 1986 to date. We are looking at different sectors, what has gone on. We have just concluded issues with this, and we have looked at the investment, and Samuel is giving us the highlights on what has gone on. What we are sure about and what we should believe in is that industries and investment has gone up. Today, government has put up what we call industrial hubs. In Mbale, there is one.
Yes.
I was there last time, I saw one. He has just alluded to.
I like it when you do such, you notice such things.
We have seen something in Mbarara, those investments are there. We didn't have Coca-Cola, now Coca-Cola will get sodas from there. We have two plants, we have a plant in Mbarara.
And in
Nama.
Yes.
So there is something to show, there is something.
And I was in Nama, in Mbarara, I visited that one, of Mbarara.
How is it going?
It's good, and it's promising.
It's promising.
Yeah.
Yes.
So people are getting the products on real time.
On real time. We things which did happen. We used to have what we call cross-border trade at that time, and I come from Busia, so we used to do that as a cross-border trade, and we used to be there most of the time. Now, away from moving from the investment and the peace, let's look at something which has always really which is in the area of health. The health sector has brought in a lot of problems. It's one of the things which is faulty in our government. The numbers of women who are dying per day, women are 16 or something like that. In terms of drugs, they are not there. Health services, they are dilapidated structures. Abasawari complaining that they are not being given enough money to begin to do their duties. Actually, one of the things that NRM has performed poorly, according to the audience, is in the health sector. You who is coming from the Ministry of Guidance and National Guidance ICT, what statistics do you have and what do you have to say about the health sector that everybody is complaining? When on the screen you are seeing His Excellency the President of Uganda has just moved to the other side, and that is part of the investment, that is the infrastructure development in Kampala. Kampala wasn't like that.
Never. That's what I'm saying. If it wasn't for peace, we wouldn't have had such a shine in Kampala.
I think Kampala will not be shining. So let's get back to...
There was nothing to talk about Uganda before NRM. There was nothing. Let's
get back to the health sector. Also,
the president has tried his best to make sure that he puts a good image for Uganda. He has attracted the investors. It is him. Whenever Amin would go elsewhere in those countries, I conquered this, I conquered this. By him expelling Asians, he declared an economic war. That's what people don't understand. Abantu bafebali temasoma by that time. So he chased away those people. And now, what were we going to use that land for? I mean, what the Asians left, what are we going to do with that?
Bishop, katudeyo kucha health sector. Tulabe health sector ujogera kochi.
Actually, like I said, in 1986, we had only one referral hospital. Okay?
Which was the
Mulago. One. Today, we have 17 referral hospitals. And then we have specialized hospitals. Mulago Heart Institute, we have Women's Hospital now, okay? So we have specialized hospitals. We have about 222 health centers and 163 hospitals. That means like in every 5 kilometers, someone has access to health services. Unlike before, when I tell you edwaliro lyali limu Gotomanyi abantu bameka abalinga bafa abantu bazaliranga mu nnimiro. This is evident. Abantu bazaliranga mu nnimiro. What I don't agree with you is one, that you know this government is not dumb enough to construct shelters and call them hospitals without putting their beddings, without putting their medicine. It's not dumb enough to do that. We're not just constructing shelters and we brand them hospitals. We're not doing that. What I can say, that the medicine is there, but it's not enough. But there's nothing like saying that there is no total medicine. Actually, if our health system is messed up, why is it that life expectancy today is 65 years than it was like 20 years ago? 45 years mbomuntu yali awangadde nnyo olwo, in fact never ofiirawo bambi naawangadde, in fact it was normal talk that when you die at 45 owangadde nnyo nno. But today it is 65 years. So how do we achieve that in a messed up healthcare system? It is wrong. That is propaganda. Those who have been there in those days can tell you that at least now, yes, we have health facilities, we don't move longer distances, so I mean, the government has worked.
People are not complaining about the existence of health structures in place. Yes, government has put in place the health system because which is channeled. We have what we call health centers too. Health centers too, the Chejimanyi County, these are just cases of emergency, first aid.
Don't say just, my dear, that case of emergency, if that health center too was not,
yes, health center too,
you have to move a longer distance. You might lose your relative or someone you know within that distance because you have to move a longer distance.
That's what I'm trying to give the little knowledge about. I know about
when you said just Chiringa, but it is something.
It handles emergencies.
Important.
Okay, it handles emergencies. Simple cases. That's the structure which is there. From health center to we have what we call. Okay, actually we have health centers which are being mandated by the village.
At the
village health teams, which collect people, get information, they find out mukazi chali orubuto ani alwadde whatever, they push them to the health center tools. From health center tools, we have what we call the health center 3s. Health center 3 has to have something like a minor shelter, a theater which can really so the system, by the time you are getting to a referral hospital or to the national hospital, the health system is in place.
Yes.
Even on the health centers, what I know is that we have what we call the HUMIC team. These HUMIC teams are people who are selected from the community to represent those hospitals and know what is going on. The only thing what is happening, however much these structures are there, is that people are not getting the due services they would want in these health centers. One, there should be a shortage of a health worker. There will be a shortage of the equipment. There will be a shortage of drugs. You know, even the health system, the way drugs move from National Referral Hospital to the health center, it has now turned into what we call a push system. That the ministry or National Drug Authority will take the drugs even if people don't want those drugs. And even if when they have taken the drugs, within 1 week, the drugs are taken. I want to give you an example, my brother Samuel, that they will take two tins of Panadol. Every tin of Panadol, every tin has 1,000 tablets. In a village, in a community, there could be like 3,000 people. So within 1 week, those drugs they will not be there. And that has been the national cry of people that they're not getting the services they want from these health units. As NRM or someone who is coming from Minister of ICT, which dagger do you have to mitigate this issue of shortage of drugs? The drugs are there, but they are few.
You see, first of all, when you see there is a point where, okay, there is a problem with some procurement officers in some health centers. Okay, like, you know, the problem is not with with NDA where they get the drugs from, because usually the NDA asks for their consignment. Give us your consignment. Every quarter they do. Now, you who's there, you know, okay, fine. My health center needs more of Panadol ABC. You list it down. Okay? Now, when you list it, as you submit in your consignment, it's the same way that NDA will do what? Will deliver it. If you deliver a wrong consignment, basically, the blame is on some of these procurement officers. But that doesn't mean that we have a messed up healthcare system. And these are just individuals who are just few, by the way, who are just few that can be dealt with. Remember that time we had stubborn people, whereby drugs would come, they would order for drugs, then along the way, drugs are played into something else, and they don't even get to the health centers. Instead, they have gone to their own clinics or hospitals, something like that. And when government realized that, you know, this government can't be hoodwinked. It's because the president himself can't be hoodwinked. So when the president looked keenly into that, they found a medicine for it. Drugs are no longer channeled all over the way, like it used to be. So the misordering, the misconsignment of drugs, at some point, it is blamed on these procurement officers. There are some officers who are not doing their jobs well.
And you are sitting looking on. You know that there is a mess which is happening up, and then
we are not sitting looking on. Like that's why I told you there is me as it has not yet come to my notice that there is a hospital which has no drugs at all.
There is a time the current permanent secretary Diana Trine, when he was still in State House heading the health department, director of health, I was in Imbala at that time. We had people who were taking drugs at that time, but she would move up, arrest them, and even chase away some health officers who were not doing that. But from the time she was shifted to, and now she's a permanent secretary, cases of, drugs shortage, storing of drugs. Even there is a media house which ran, a documentary on how people are faring drugs. Now, as NRM, as you people who are in government, how are you advising government to make sure that such instances, which is tainting this current government, dark? Because people say, one of the things, the whole issues about health systems is not about the system, and it's not about the structures. It is about the services that people would get from these health units.
I can tell you one thing.
Mr. Mango, or Mango.
Mr. Mango, I can tell you one thing. That when this is the only government I know which doesn't operate in the dark. There's always transparency, okay? And this government has always made sure, and we encourage people to be involved in the government programs. As the Constitution stipulates, the government is entitled to make sure that people are living in good health. Then why do you go to a hospital? Is it a hotel? You can't go to a hospital to happy and then you live on a no. It's not a hotel. You go there actually because you are in pain or you are in need.
In the need of those services.
Yes, of those services. So the documentary you're talking about, yes, I'm aware of it. I've seen it. And you see, with the NRM government, we don't wait for anyone else to fault it. We fault ourselves and we make corrections ourselves. There is nobody from outside, actually, or from opposite who could tell us that, you know what, you're not caring about these drug issues. Otherwise, why would we have all of these health centers? Why would we have all of these referral hospitals if actually the main mandate was just not to care about the health of Ugandans? We do, and I can assure you, whoever was doing that, and their chain was disbanded. So we put them to face the law. This is taxpayers' money. Okay? And we are accountable to taxpayers. So we always take action. You can fault government on how long it takes to take action, but we do take action.
You are still watching Record TV. We are into an exclusive interview. I'm with Bishop Samuel from the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance. We are looking at how NRM has fared since 1986. We are looking at its achievements, the faults and whatever, and we are dismissifying the faults, the lies that come along with such things. Let's go for a commercial break. When we come back, we shall be going in the areas of education to see how NRM has fared in the areas of education. Don't go away. I'm still in an extension. Thank you.
Olina bizinesi naye tetambula oba oyagala kutandika naye ofunye okusoomoozebwa omusolo gukutawaanya oba looni tosubwa puroguramu ndi mugezi nga mubuulirire mwe tukuleetera abakugu okuva mu bitongole ebyenjawulo nga URA ne bakusomesa enzirukanya ya bizinesi tugisubwa wano ku Record TV.
Yellow Beat.
It's a 4G remix. Double sin. Twice upon a time, I got my phone. I put him busy, and then I said, I have time with it. So I called my friend. Fast come. Did you know? Did you?
Yes, it's MTN 00, the 4G remix. Dial *150*10# or visit my MTN app to load daily bundles and double your MPs on your 4G line. Everywhere you go, MTN.
What? That means more fire. What is up? What's it down?
Everywhere you go, MTN.
In times like these that are full of uncertainties, everybody vying for a political office needs someone they can trust, someone who's authentic, relevant, and can deliver your message timely. Record TV allows you to book a space in our UG Pulse program to speak to your electorates at very affordable rates. Don't miss the chance. For more information, call 0393 202 845 or 0707 448 577.
On 26th January 1986, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni took oath of office as President of the Republic of Uganda and swore to protect and serve Ugandans diligently and deliver a fundamental change.
I think this is a fundamental change in the politics of our country.
Over the years, he has delivered on his promise as the guarantor of our peace and security, the gatekeeper of our country's freedom, economic prosperity, human rights, and ensure democratic practice at all levels. Yoweri Museveni is the most experienced and committed candidate you can trust with the responsibility of securing our country's future. The National Resistance Movement Party, therefore, presents Yoweri Kaguta Museveni as its presidential candidate for the 2021 elections. Trust Yoweri Museveni to secure your future. Vote NRM, vote Museveni.
Step of stability.
Tuned to Record TV. With me, Sanya Manuel Mango, the host of this interview, an exclusive interview with Bishop Samuel from the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance. We are talking about NRM achievement from 1986 to date. We have discussed a number of issues that included investment. We talked about peace. We have talked about other areas, health and Now, as we went for a commercial break, we wanted to discuss something to do with education. In the education sector is one which touches on everybody, and whoever will speak the English or do anything, it is the social transformation of this country can be tagged on education. Samuel, we are now going back to the areas of education. And indeed, NRM came up with a lot of issues. We had some few things in some campaign. President Museveni said, I'm going to educate 4. From 4, we had 6, we had others. A number of programs have come into the areas of education. We have free education for primary, free education for secondary, tertiary institutions, and whatever. In terms of universities, there are something we have seen, but there are still people say, however much there has been a strain, a growth in the number of people who have going to school, there is a growth in the infrastructure development. A number of the universities, some people would not be graduates today, but they are today. All that is not the issue. The whole issue that we are seeing from the other side, which we want you to tell us, is about the quality of education. People are complaining about the quality of education. Before you get to that, just give us a history in the education system that you feel NRM government can score and move with its head high.
Actually, the NRM government can move with its head high. In the Constitution, it is very clear, okay, that every Ugandan is entitled to education.
Quality education.
Yeah, quality education. And it is through that article in the Constitution that where that government comes up with programs like USE and UPE. Actually, hadn't this program been politicized by some opposition members, the literacy rate actually would be even higher today. It would be higher today. But remember when it had just come, when UPE had just come, really it faced a lot of challenges and opposition. It was abused a lot. Now today I can assure you, you have where you come from, right?
I come from Busia.
Exactly, you come from Busia. Can you tell me how easy it is to get a Shamba boy today? Or a housemaid today?
It's difficult.
Do you know why it is difficult?
No.
No, because the cost of education has lowered as a result of UPE and USE. There is no one who would like.
The last time I checked, if I'm not mistaken, government was paying 6,000 for every primary kid. I don't know whether it is still the same figure or 7 for you for a year, 7,000, and it would pay 12,000. Second. I'll check those facts, but the time I checked, naye ate bw'otuuka ku university and tertiary universities, you know, government left it and people are selling goats, people are selling cows, people are selling land to make sure that they educate people at tertiary institution and universities. But ate n'obutunula ku sente zituba twogerako akakaaga n'omutwalo gumu 12,000 omwaka. Is it consonant enough that your kid is government is paying for that kid sitting Kakasam in UPE?
Okay, first of all, government has assured that omwana goes at day afunye education asobola okuwandiika erinnya lye mu lulimi lwe, okay, asobola okwogerwa oluzungu. Kati n'olulimi no baali bakayita nakazungu kubanga kyali nga kizibu nnyo okwakivinga oluzungu olwo. No, it's like as if it's a common thing. It's not. It wasn't. But back then, it wasn't a common thing for somebody to speak English. It was really something very unique. Because those things were rare. Okay, they were rare. But today, because now everyone is educated, like I've asked you, how is it easier for you to get a housemaid in Busia today to bring them to Kampala? No one actually would like to risk their daughter to come and to be a housemaid. Actually, even those who want housemaids today, you'll say, I want a housemaid who's going to have my child in coaching and so on. You get what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, no one will just like to push their kid actually to go into a housemaid, yet there is a free education in his or her district. So this one has lowered the cost of education. How many universities do we have today? How many? We
have what we call public universities and private universities.
I'm talking about public universities. Yes, public universities.
Like if I may count,
Public
roughly,
university.
we have Chambogo, you have Makerere, we have Bustema, we have Gulu University, we have, you know.
And in intersection, how many do we have?
I think.
How many do we have? You see, this is what I'm telling you. That don't take this education thing like very lightly. You have talked about the tertiary that we did not just leave them there, but at least you need to give chance, okay, to someone who is starting so that they can know how to write their name. These young ones, because for you now we know at least you have got at a certain level, okay, you have got at a certain level. What is the use of, even if it's you, it happens even in our normal lives. You say kasito omwana at least kala ali musinya kansikako ne bana abato, because you know now that one has got some education, okay, he has got some education, he can start somehow from there. He's not so down like this young one who has not got anything.
Samuel, we want to know that kumuzeyo wede yasoma n'otunula ku handwriting ye n'oluzungu lwayogera. Does it mean anything to you? No mwana wena kuzina yitidde UP inasoma n'agenda gyagenda.
And you see now what you're trying to say, it's like as if you're trying to say that there is English for UPE and there is English for
the Bazeis,
for the Bazeis. English remains English. Omuzungu, I mean omusajja omuzeeyo wedda gogamba
alina handwriting no mwana woto was printing.
Yes oyo gogamba. You see, those colonialists by that time, they also had their way of writing. You know, we are brainwashed a lot. People, you have to agree on that. They were brainwashed a lot. In that, you would know someone, even the speaking or the writing, you know that this one started from this way, this one started from that. But now, as long as you can read, you can write. Jajjawo kyamwandikira ku checkbook.
Nedda.
Kakati luli kyalinga bwe kiti. Mwana wange mpandikirako ko wano. You write for me. This time around, no one sends anybody to the bank to sign for them. It is them signing. How does that come about? It has come about the 70% literacy levels that have gone up compared to 1986. And I'm proud of that.
We want to look at, let's delve it, still in the area of education. We have so many areas in the education we shall be discussing one by one. But let us look at the curriculum, the transformation of the curriculum. As of now, we look at in primary education. The Minister of Education yaja thematic education inti. Thematic education abana babasomesa mu lulimi lwabwe. Thematic education omwana tagwa repeating a class. In thematic education, omwana no kubeera ku ssomero. It doesn't matter. The prior nakanize tulukogera keze mabega. It was strict that in a class we would get 40 students. Teri kuongerako no memo. That's why we had P1A, P1B, P1C to make sure that the numbers of students in a class are there. Secondly, we go in terms of teachers. You would look at a teacher and bategera nti buli musomesa handling up 40. Today we are talking about a school which has in P1, let us say P3, and abana abali mu kibiina omwo, they are over 120, they are 300, they are whatever. So how does one teacher relate and educate all those abana bano kulekeza nti bategeera kye bagamba? N'ekyokubiri, the thematic education. Those years, people would repeat classes, there is promotion and whatever. We are talking about education system of NRM that there's direct promotion and the numbers of students per class.
You see, let us try to do this. NRM is built on 4 pillars.
Which is?
Socio-economic transformation. There's democracy. There is independence. Okay, and Pan-Africanism.
Pan-Africanism.
Yes.
Patriotism.
Okay,
patriotism, social transformation, yes. Democracy, yes. And Pan-Africanism.
And Pan-Africanism.
Yes.
Therefore, now, let us pull out one thing called independence. Okay? You are talking about an education, a colonialist education system. That's why we have got even these tertiary institutions and so on and so forth. You get what I'm saying? Bali baleta education system yawe tusomera uzungu kati ebintu ebyo speak katukulayo bikuyamba ki cotton belt olwalire kuyamba ki those things we used to study we are just cramming English real. And we're left to study things real which are going to help the development of our country and even us. It's like as if you're complaining, like, okay, but how was China improved? Are you going to compare the economy of Uganda with the one of China? Are they being promoted in English? In which language are they subscribed to? Take go with the dollar in China. I can tell you, you are going to lose. You better change your money here before you go there. You are going to lose. So what I'm trying to say, and you've talked about 40 what? Yes, that's the piece that NRM bought. Okuzara tuzara tembo twachimanya nti kati government yetukwatira kwa then tewali tabu exactly tewali tabu yes tewali mutawana kati now you are complaining of the stream in no okuzara tuzara ate government werera n'abaana baffe. You get what I'm saying? But we have I have reason to believe that it's not official government policy that abaana balina okubeera abangi nnyo by a teacher cannot interact with the students or the people in the class. Era yensonga lwaki bateeka stream bweti egendamu abaana bwe bati stream bweti egendamu abaana bwe. Still there is regulation of how many people are supposed to be in a stream. And secondly, bannange obwongo buno bannaffe tusobola kubeera na bwongo bwe bumu. We cannot sit an exam and all of us can pass. It's like you the way you are hosting me is not the way same way you're going to host another one to explain these things. You get what I'm saying? So that's the difference. We cannot be the same. That's the world we live in. That mulimu abakwate mpola mpozi kyobo tugamba kati tutondewe somero amasomero nga goga abaana bakwata mpola kugamba no discrimination ebeera.
But we have that program for special need. There is that program in education sector.
Special need for disabilities. You get okukwa zagade ko sawli milula but okwate when they mark you, we come out in grade A, grade B. You get it? They don't say that this grade it's for silly ones. They don't grade like that. They grade C. Why don't we all of us be in grade A? Why don't we all of us at least be in grade B? And we minimize. Now some schools, this is what they did. They get students who are very bright. They put them in one stream. Okay. Now grade B and grade C are mixed in another stream.
That's what we did in Bukedde College Kachonga. We had A, B, and C. For those ones who were in B, they were the bright ones.
The bright ones. So now some schools they know how to now they add up these streams. Like okay, those who are in the grades like according to performance. So now what they do in that those in grade B and grade C, they will put you in the same stream. You know what I'm saying? So it's the congestion. Okay, maybe you are blaming the NRM government to bring this peace. Okay, and to make sure that actually again each and every Ugandan is entitled to free education. Those who don't want that education, that's your choice to make. We're not going to force you. And that one who's telling you that UPE is bad, Ngomano in international school, then I pity you for listening to him or her. I pity you. It's you who's going to lag behind, but his or her kids are going to go. But
Ochari Record TV, you are watching this an exclusive interview here in the studios. Tuli ne mukuru Samuel Avode mu kitongole kya ICT ministry. But the other side, Bobo Genze Echambogo elections are going. Nominations for presidential candidates are going on. With Suvire Sawas in Ondoza, I'm seeing a big group of people about Kusawe. We shall be bringing you both Okwategeza what is happening this side and also what is happening the other side. Those are presidential candidates. Onako Rwalero is the day for nominations. At least I'm sure they. Not all of them, but at least what we know from the Electoral Commission, there will be 10 people who will be nominated today. Or you're going to Kulaba and there was a General Tumukunde, who is now akanankanika kakala hako twali no mwami omwe yatukozesa last time yali wa go forward, so sometimes watch you that one tuliawo sawa eno tuli Kyambogo ndowooza agenze is going for nomination. Tujja kuba nga tubaleetera what is happening here and there, but we want to come back to our studios tuli mu topic yaffe nkyana n'omukulu mukulu Bishop Samuel from the Ministry of ICT nga tuli kwogera ku the achievements of NRM and how to identify some of the issues that are coming up. People are using okulabika nti they are faulting NRM for what is here. He has given us an insight and a lot of things that happen. Samuel, teacher topic ekwatagana ne education ebibi okusoma kubanga bintu byamaanyi nnyo. Recently we have been into COVID and President Museveni has made a lot of pronouncements in the areas of education. He has assured people over my radio, he has assured people about TV, he has assured in this COVID time government has really even provided reading materials for students and kids and pupils who have been at home. Njagala tubule within this period. Last week I saw the Minister of it should have been Honorable Miyingo came to Parliament for a supplementary budget for over 36 billion shillings. Okulabika they buy radios for abaana abagenda okusoma. But yet in this COVID time still the candidates are back at school. Njagala otubulire ekyo kikwataganira wa we are in an election period. Majority of the people who would need this are already back at school, but the ministry is requesting for over 36 billion okulabika nti tukomawo ku kintu ekyo. Twagala omalize area eyo, twagala kumaliza program eno tugende ku democracy.
No, you see, by that time you remember when the president was saying like, okay, Minister of Education should get in touch with the Minister of Health by finding ways, most especially now the candidate students. Now I think one of the ideas that came up for the other students was to buy radios. You get what I'm saying? Was to buy radios in order to communicate. And they're talking about now that the Katavana was there. It was an idea by that time. You get.
Tetujja kusuka onako olwaleero we had a lot of things twagala genda kusooka connecting ako ku tulabe ekiri ekyambogo, then we shall come back somewhere oberenga tukyagenda mu maaso ne program yaffe ya tulabe engeri gye tunalaba NRM ekozeete. Let's get to Kyambogo and then we shall come back and conclude this show.
Baby, let me talk for you, balance. So you know man, you know tie na your way a chama. Hello, what's up guys, what's up?